Okay, today I'll post the answer key just as an answer key, but I'm also going to go through some of these just to make sure there's some understanding. Okay, so this one says point O is the center of each circle, and the segments are tangents. So we know that there's something special that happens when a radius hits a tangent, and that is that x becomes a 90-degree angle. And then we know that all the angles in a triangle have to add up to 180. So we have 90 and 25, which is 115. And if we took that away from 180, we're left over with 65 degrees. So that means y is 65 degrees. Okay, here we have a 54-degree angle. Now we're looking just for y here, but we need to remember that this has created a 90-degree angle. So if we have 180 and we subtract 144, we are left with 36 degrees. Therefore, y is 36 degrees. Now, this one is not the interior sum of angles in a triangle, but we would use Pythagorean theorem. So we've got a 90-degree angle. We've made our right angle here. This is our hypotenuse, so 20 squared is equal to 9 squared plus I don't know squared. And when you work that out, okay, you get around 17 and 9/10. And it doesn't give us a unit there. Okay, question number 2. It says a circular mirror is suspended by a wire from a hook, and what they're asking is how do we know that this one here is not a tangent? Okay, now remember, we know it's not a tangent if, okay, this is not a 90-degree angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So 16 squared is equal to 13 squared plus 7 squared. We get 256 is equal to 169 plus 49. And you end up with 256 is equal to 218. And that's not correct, okay? So the square of the hypotenuse was not equal to the sum of the square of the legs. Okay, it didn't work, so therefore we know this can't be a right angle triangle, so we know that that's not a tangent. Okay, so that's how you'd prove that to me. Okay, question number 4 says draw a circle with the center O mark. Explain how to draw a tangent. Okay, so you just center the circle, draw here, and you're just going to draw a line that only touches at one point. Okay, so now this one here required some thinking. Okay, so it tells you that it's sitting on a shelf. Now we know that the diameter of the plate is 20, so we can see that the bottom here of the shelf would be 20. It's the same width as there, and so would the height, so it's like a square. Okay, so how we would figure this one out is we would just find the hypotenuse, okay, and basically half of that would be from here to here. So that's what we're doing here. All right, so let's work that one out. You're going to have c squared is equal to 20 squared plus 20 squared, and you're going to get 400 plus 400. And you're going to find me the square root of 800 because we always do the last step like this. And you're going to get around 28 3/10. But remember, we have to divide that in 2 because that would be the whole distance from here to here. And we just want half of it, right? So we are going to cut that in half, and you should get around 14 1/10 of a centimeter when you work that out. Okay, let's check out number 5. Number 5 now is moving to section 8.2. Okay, and what we're doing here is we are determining the center of each, O is the center of the circle, determine the value of x. Okay, so we know that this is a bisector because it created a 90-degree angle. So this whole section here is 10, so we know that one piece of it is 5. So we've actually created a triangle that looks like this. We have a hypotenuse of 8 and a base of 5, and we're looking for x, which is this side here. Okay, so you'd go 8 squared is equal to 5 squared plus b squared, and then you're going to find the square root of that at the end, and you're going to get 6 2/10. Now over here, this one's a little bit different, okay, but what you would do is you would understand that this is 16 is the diameter, so then part of this, the half of this, is a radius, which is 8, but anytime you go from the center now to the outside edge, that's going to be 8, right? Okay, so now we have 7 for A, C is 8, and now what we're looking for is the base here. Okay, so we are just going to go 8 squared is equal to 7 squared plus b squared. Okay, and then you are going to get 64 is equal to 49 plus b squared, so 15 is equal to b squared, and when you find the square root of that, you get 3 9/10. So that's the basic part of it. Okay, question number 6. We had a dream catcher. okay, that has got a diameter of 22 and it's strung with a web of straight cords. One of these cords is 18 centimeters long. We're going to sketch a diagram. How far is the cord from the center of the circle? So let me just show you what I drew. Okay, I would draw a circle. We know that right through the center is 22, and we know that at some point we've got a cord that's 18. Excuse my, how shaky I am here. Okay, so we know that if this whole thing is 22 across, we know that this piece here is 11. It's a radius, right? Okay, so we're trying to figure out how far away this diameter is from this cord. So we could draw another right angle triangle here. We know that this is 11, and if this cord here was 18, we know that the bottom piece of it was 9. So you just redraw 11, and then down here is 9, and we're looking to see how far away it is, which is this piece right here. Okay, so you go through the motions of Pythagorean theorem, and you end up with around 6 3/10 of a centimeter away when you work that all out. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get through this. All right, 7.0 is the center of the circle. Determine the value of x and y. Okay, so we know that this is a radius and this is a radius. That means that these two, this is an isosceles triangle. This angle is the same as this one. So this has to be 35 degrees. We know that all the angles in triangle have to add up to 180. That means by default, y has to be 110. Okay, now this one's really interesting. These pieces are all the same. Okay, so that means that these angles are also the same. So we know that this one's 90 degrees. Okay, and if these two are exactly the same, then that means they have to add up to 90 as well, but they're exactly the same. So we take 90 and divide it by 2, and so these are both 45 degree angles. Okay, number 8. A square has a side length of 5. It is inscribed in a circle, the center O. What is the length of the radius of the circle, and how do you know this? Okay, so what we have here is 5 by 5, and we are going to find the hypotenuse here. So we've got c squared is equal to 5 squared plus 5 squared. You get 25 plus 25. C squared is equal to 50. Now we're going to find the square root of that, and you get 7 1/10-ish. Okay, but we just want the radius. Okay, so what we found was the diameter. So you're going to divide that by 2, and you're going to get around 3 5/10-ish. Okay. All right, point O is the center of the circle. Determine the value of x and y. Well, we know that this angle here is subtended by a semicircle. That means that it's 90 degrees. This one here, angle here, is also subtended by a semicircle. It's the other side, so they're both 90 degrees. All right, B. The center here is 120 degrees. That's a central angle. You can see that they are subtended by this arc. They start and finish here, so does this one. What's the relationship between a central angle and an inscribed angle? It's half. Okay, so x is going to be 60, and y is also going to be 60 degrees. Okay, same situation happening here. We have a 150 degree angle here. Okay, and so this one here, these angles have to add up to 180, and this is a radius, and this is a radius, so we know that this angle and this angle are going to be the same. So 180 minus 150 is 30, and because this bottom angle has to be exactly the same, if we divide that by 2, 15 degrees, okay? This one here is subtended by the same arc, so if this one's 150, this has to be half of that, so angle Y would be 75 degrees. Okay. Angle 10, or number 10, okay, we have rectangles inscribed in a circle. The center is O and the diameter is 36. So we have a sort of a hypotenuse that's 36 degrees, and the rectangle is 10 centimeters. The shorter side of the rectangle is 10 centimeters long. So we have that piece right here. So what we're looking for, okay, is the length of the longer side. So we know that we're going to have 36 squared is equal to 10 squared plus b squared. We work out the Pythagorean theorem, and we end up with around 34 6/10. Okay.